Joseph, please reintroduce yourself, please.
Okay, I am architect Kalu Joseph Chiawolamoke Mbonamakpo.
So now, what's your job? What's your profession?
I'm an architect. We are into the work of an architect basically is to make designs, get to build, get to do facility management. So basically that is what I do.
So you draw buildings or just buildings or any other type of structure?
Yes, I do buildings ranging from residential to commercial to industrial designs. That is what we do.
So how long have you been an architect? From the time you graduated and started being a full architect?
Okay, this is my 16th year after graduations. I graduated 2007 with a master's degree from Abia State University, Uturu.
Okay, very good. So that means you have basically about at least 15 years of experience as an architect.
Yes, sir.
So now, who are your major clients? Where do you get your clients from? And what are the job that you have done? So how do we verify? Okay, I don't know you, then I want to know you. I want to get a referral. So where do I go to get a feel of what you have done?
Okay, some of the projects I've had to do for Ndi Ibere is one that I did for Chief Solo Akuma. I am his personal architect. I've been able to design and construct his residence here in Abuja, where he has his chambers as well. I designed his residence in Ibere. That is part of the work that I do. And I think I also did a job for you, sir, Chief Ukebu, and I'm presently doing a job for some people in Ibere, for Mr. Ejeke. I'm also doing supervising.
You mean Emeka Ejeke or who? Another Ejeke?
Emeka Ejeke's younger brother.
Okay,
Ejeke.
go ahead. Yeah, yes, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm also doing a project for Barrister George Ukebu here in Abuja, and to name but a few, sir.
Which project have you done for a group? Or have you done any project for a group?
Yes, we've done some church projects for Mountain of Fire Dipoi. We've done some church projects for Redeemed Church in Abuja. I also designed the church, the Presbyterian Church in Amuku Ibere. I did that project as well. So I'm also working for the IDA, the Ibere Developmental Association, on the laboratory projects we have in Ibere.
Okay, the laboratory project of Ibere Secondary School.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now it looks to me I saw somewhere in social media where people talk about quality. So can you take us through how we can verify the quality of a project? Before we do that, let me see if I can share a screen, please. Okay, can you all see this?
Good day, everyone. I wish to welcome you to this ongoing project of laboratory innovation work by the IDA at the Ibere Secondary School. This is the first day at work. We began by demolishing part of the structure that needs to be adjusted. Here are some of the materials that have been supplied, and the walls are coming down gradually. The clearing work began today, and this is how far we've gone. We are gradually dismantling the areas that need to be demolished. Okay, these walls also came down today. This is the last section of the hall. clearing will continue tomorrow.
Okay, so now, before this stage, what is the first stage before you get to this particular stage?
Okay, every project begins with planning. So planning is one of the first things that happens where a client is able to say this is what he wants. It is the achievement of that objective that makes a good project. So before you start site construction works, you need to go do a design that meets the need of the client.
Okay, so in this particular case, this was done, right?
Yes, sir, it was.
All right, just give me 1 second. So what is this called?
That's called a floor plan, sir.
Okay, so this is the first thing that is done.
Yes, sir.
So after this, what's the next thing? Or
It will be
is there any other type of drawing that is drawn in addition to this?
yes, the architect does not work alone. He works in partnership with the various things like the structural engineer, the electrical, the mechanical engineer. And then we also, like my brother Ike, we also engage the services of a surveyor who does things like environmental impact assessment, who does things like site analysis surveys and all that. And then those form the complete package of drawing that comes up. So depending on the complexity of the project and where it's located, those things are needed to get that.
You're saying that in this particular case, so there was a service of let's say electrical engineer and a mechanical engineer, those who drew part of the drawings that are necessary.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now how about this? Can you explain this to us, please?
This is a structural details that shows the framings, the structural members, beginning from the columns to the beam and then the roof trusses.
So it looks like there are so many pillars or beams. I don't know what they are called. So like how many pillars? Can you tell us how many pillars you have here?
Well, the numbers of pillars in a building depends on the span of the building. So it can vary, but you have to make sure that it's within a safe span so that you don't have collapse in your structure after constructing.
Okay,
so the job
okay, how about this horizontal thing that I can see?
those are called the beams.
The beams.
Yes, the beams. The vertical ones are the columns, and the columns have a base, the lower part, which transmits all the forces which the column is carrying to the ground, safely to the ground. Then the beams are there to link most of the columns together and to also transmit the load of the roof evenly to all the columns, and then they transmit that to the earth.
Okay, thank you. So that's the purpose for columns and beams in a building.
Yes, sir. They are structural members.
So how about this?
These are the 3D view of the structure, what it should look like after construction, sir.
So it should look like this after construction. Like how many laboratories do you have in this particular structure?
Okay, we have 3 laboratories, the chemistry, biology, and physics labs, and each of them has an office stroke storage area.
All right, thank you. So now let's get back to that video and see. So we have seen the demolition, and let's see other stuff.
Good evening, everyone. This is day 2 of work. Demolition is ongoing. We also started excavation and blinding of the foundation and installing of columns. This set of columns are in place now. These other partition with the columns are also in place. We do hope to start raising new walls from tomorrow. I'll keep you posted as we proceed. Signing out on this second day of work is Architect Joseph. Good day, everyone. This is the 3rd day of work. The columns are in place, and the partitions for the laboratories are beginning to come out. The walls are rising. This is the first, and that is the second laboratory. And this is the third one coming up with the office in place. We hope to take this journey further by tomorrow.
Okay, so you mentioned about excavation and blinding. So what is that?
Okay. Every building has basically 4 phases. One of them is the substructure, which has to do with the foundation. So the columns, you start by excavating, and then you now get your reinforcements in place, and then you can now cast the foundations and then begin to raise the block works up to the German floor level. So at the point where you finish your damp-proof course, you can say you're done with the substructure. Then going forward, the second phase is what we call the superstructure, which has to do with the work from the damp-proof course all the way to the roof beam level. And then the third phase of buildings is the roofing stage. So, and then the fourth stage is the finishing level. And then you could now have the landscaping coming up. So those are the various phases in building construction, basically.
Okay. So you mentioned the German floor. What is that?
Okay, that is the damp-proof membrane, a damp-proof course, which is like the solid ground on your ground level, the final ground level finish.
Okay, thank you. So now let me fast forward this a little bit so that we can move forward.
Everyone, this week we made progress on the roofing. We bought and we've started the installation of the roof carcass. So far, the king posts as well as the tie beams are all up. Those are the tie beams running across. You can see them across this classroom, through this corridor, and then you see it running through this classroom. We have to make good progress on this during this coming week. Thank you.
Okay, so you mentioned about roof structure or roof carcass. So can you explain technically what that means?
Okay, at the stage of the roofing, there are 3 basic steps. One is the roof beams, where you chain most of the pillars and then get a beam that collects the load of the roof and transmit it to the columns. And then the second is the roof carcass, where you have to do either a wooden truss or an iron trusses. And then the third phase of that roof is what we call the roofing sheets. So the client may choose what material he may want to use for his roofing sheets.
Let's fast forward a little bit. So there's already roof
back. The roofing sheet going up at that point. I'm sure by tomorrow they'll be rounding up. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Today we come to the completion of this first milestone of getting this work to the roof. We are grateful for thus far. God has helped in this project, and we want to thank everyone, the IBA people that have made this possible. And here is one of the laboratory rooms with the buildings in place, and this is the second one done so far. And here is the corridor. Here is the last laboratory room. Thank you. Next phase will be finishing. Thank you. Signing.
Okay, so now at this stage now, the current stage the project is. So what's the current stage of the project? Okay, we've gone beyond where we are now. We've been able to put in place the slab that carries the platforms for the laboratory activities. And we've also done ceilings, we've done doors and windows. We have as well done the flooring and ties
price on most of the spaces. We've done electrical works. I think we can say we are 95% completed. So we've also started the landscaping works around the laboratory.
Okay, just give me 1 second to share one more clip, please.
Where here you could see the basins are in place. There's now water in the laboratory. The gas has also been supplied to those platforms so they can actually do their experiment conveniently.
So there's gas in this place.
Yes, there are gas on each of those platforms.
You can see the
Yes,
platform has been done. The platform is made up of concrete with what's that surface on the platform?
They are tight finishing, sir.
Okay. So all the taps are running. You mentioned that it's almost how many percent completed?
90 to 95% completed. What we have left is just the painting.
Okay, so at this stage today, so basically what is left for the entire laboratory project building structure to be completed is like painting.
Yes, painting and then the shelves.
Okay, so the shelves will be made of wooden, is it wooden shelf or what?
Yes, wooden shelves, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So now if somebody wants to contact you, what do the person need to do? Okay,
he just needs to call me on my number or send me an email. My phone number is 0806 330 9095.
And what's the email?
chiwax@gmail.com. Chiwax is C for cat, H for horse, I for ink, W for walk, A for apple, C for cat, K for kettle, S for sugar @gmail.com.
Gmail.com. You wanted to give a second number, so what is that?
No, I just wanted to call my number again, 0806 330 9095.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.